today's topic is Beyond Microsoft 365, Securing Identities, Data Compliance in the Cloud. I'm Kenneth Lowe, CISSP, Technical Director of Version 2 Singapore. Yep, so we can start. Well, our objective today will be analyze a little bit about the coming up threats or existing threats, mainly target on Azure and M365, because in Singapore, well, majority of SMB and enterprise or workshop, SOHO, they are using M365 if they choose to go for the cloud mail or cloud directory. Well, of course, there's still people using Google Workspace, but in fact, really, most of them are using M365, yeah, for many reasons. And so we need to have some proactive strategy to fight against those external threats and have risk management. What? Wow, why? Wait a moment. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, technical problem. That's why we're here. So then we have to explore compliance-driven data protections. Actually, this is a worldwide phenomenon that governments pushing compliance and requirements of cybersecurity protection, because majority of the daily lives, okay, not just business operations, daily lives is involve IT and system and computers and data on the cloud everywhere. So it's more or less is a more important than physical security in certain angle, at least as important as physical security. So we have some solutions that we can help you guys to build up a service for vendors, for customers. So some market context. So as I said, there's a growing coverage of M365 and Azure adoptions. That means a larger attack surface, because attackers attack service and application and OS that have most of the users, and then find out much more vulnerability and exploits that they can make use of, because the money is there, right? And cybersecurity, of course, there's no longer just endpoint focuses, and nowadays many times we find that getting account takeover from M365 sometimes is a very good start point. But of course, traditional sending spam mail, phishing mail, and then get someone install a downloader, and then hacking in, do lateral movement is still very, very dominant. But we do see that hackers, cyber criminals start to attack more focused on the cloud, because sometimes in some organizations nowadays, they don't have a dedicated endpoints. All the users use BYOD, everything on the cloud. Then there's no natural movement at all for them, right? But then they may target it on the cloud. That become a new angles of attack because of the high adoption of M365 and other SaaS applications. And there is a more and more compliance and visibility requirement for SMB as well as enterprise, like those cyber essential and many others or compliance and requirements. So the opportunity for us nowadays is we help to customers to harden their M365 and Azure environments, make sure the configuration is correct, deploy necessary protection for them, doing backups, and detect and mitigate those external threats for them, and help them to be compliance ready. those compliances, although the name is very different, but at the end of the day, the detail is almost the same. You have to protect your endpoint, you have to encrypt your data and transit in arrest, backing up, do visibility, detection, response, keeping logs and audit, all sort of that. Roughly the same. So at the end of the day, so a few basic pillars that you have to take care of, then you can have a good start to fulfill different kind of compliance. Of course, there's a little bit different of detail of the compliance, like how many times you should scan for a year or how detailed it is, but the basic is the same. So also protect, position yourself as a managed service provider, that if you get used to our solutions, that you can ready to position like that. That means you have more income, because doing support is hard, but cannot charge much. So security can charge more. So that's the point. Okay, so today we'll feature a few solutions today. ESET Cloud Office Security, not the endpoint one, which is this is the cloud one, protecting your cloud application for M365 and Google Workspace, backup solutions, Storware and Keepit. I will tell you why we introduced two. There's a different scenario. A Graylog Security, which is a more or less a new solution bring up in Singapore by us. Well, they actually exist in the market quite a long time, and we have very big name famous customer. I will share later. JumpCloud is a identity and access net management that you can integrate with your Azure AD or on-prem AD. Well, we solve lots of problems like macOS and SaaS application. So how to integrate also of that. And Shield-Path is a digital right management or information right management solutions. We provide a very flexible, easy to use, easy to adopt right management tools, because nowadays DRM is a nightmare to everyone. Internal, external, management, IT, and user. So there's the adoption rate is extremely low for DRM, but Shield-Path do bring up some convenient and usable features that you can easily adopt, no matter department or whole company. Last but not least is Stellar, which is a very interesting external attack surface monitoring tools that you can collect much more intel that is really difficult to get by one or two engineers or corporate. So let's start. Talk about ESET Cloud Office Security. So ESET Cloud Office Security is a cloud solutions which integrate with your M365 or Google Workspace to help you to protect against malware, phishing, ransomware attack on M365, of course, as well as Google Workspace. And not just that, you also protect your namely OneDrive, ShareDrive, Teams, and also Exchange Online, the cloud mail. Okay, and we can set up a granular email filtering to help you to filter those content you don't want. And we do have automate remediation, and we integrate with our cloud sandbox technology. So it is very easy to integrate. You just link up your admin account, then connect through the cloud-to-cloud API connection. Then we can start to protect your inboxes. Yeah. So which is a cloud host. So this is a turnkey solution. You just apply and then integrate. So in more detail, we do anti-spam, anti-malware, anti-phishing, and spoofing, any advanced threat detection. We call it a dashboard and notification, and very granular settings. You can like turn off the anti-spam and then turn on the anti-phishing only, or you can add some more keywords, a bad list, white list. Also, you can do it online and adopt very easily. And you can put those quarantine email in ESET or put it back to the Exchange Online. It depends your policy or your adoption, but it is really, really easy to use, and you can enjoy the protection just a few minutes configuration. And you need not to install or using ESET on-prem or endpoint together with Cloud Office Security. It can be sold separately. So if you're using any others endpoints, it won't conflict. Even you turn on the advanced protection from Microsoft, but frankly speaking, that one is not that cost effective. Very barely improve something, but not that cost effective. So you may after adopt this, many customers think, okay, which is you can simply turn it off to save some money, and turn it to use ESET as a much proper protection. Especially phishing is very scary. Yeah, account takeover, and then ransomware or sort of stuff. We start from email, right? Still, majority of them from email. So having a robust protection from the email itself is, I have to say, if you don't have proper email protection, after adopt that, you would at least remove 70% or 80% of the threats, or even 90%. It depends on your network anyway. So do protect your emails. Next is about backup. Well, before we go dive into the functional features, one thing is really important to clarify, because many people think that, wow, the cloud mail, I can log in, use it, so every day without any problem, the availability is so high, the SLA is so high. That means we need not to do any backup for that. This is wrong, because although it looks that your data will be backup or retained or restored in case of or anything, but the story is not. Okay, for SaaS application, the standard SLA is up to the platform, not include your data. It just coincidentally, when they have they to protect their system, they help you to retain your data as well. But in case, for example, if you remove some user wrongly, like I'm Kenneth, if the same company have another Kenneth, maybe I'm Kenneth Low, he is a Kenneth Chan, but I mean remove Kenneth Low rather than Kenneth Chan after Kenneth Chan resign, then our data will be lost. My data will be lost. Okay, there's no way to recover it if you don't have any backup. You call Microsoft because of say sorry, because you deleted by means. Okay, I cannot help you to restore. Yeah, and any others like if you integrate with some application with your or M365, they may got some bugs or you create a wrong policy, it will remove all your data. So from the security and data protection point of view, you have to back up your SaaS application data, no matter what it is. So if you're using SAP SaaS, you should have, of course, if you can still buy additional package to back up on the cloud itself, like Microsoft, you can pay extra to do the backup. But the point is, it violates the basic concept of backup, because we have to do the 1, 2, 3. At least you have one copy, two space location, and then 3 generation, whatever. So if it's backup and put it back in Microsoft, in case Microsoft got any problem, may not be all database destruct, but you may have a connectivity issue, their service bring down, you know where to restore it, right? So it's more standard to do an offsite backup. So that's why we introduce cloud backup solutions. So Storware and Keepit both are backup solutions. Keepit is a SaaS, pure SaaS backup solutions. So they only back up your SaaS data. While Storware is very strong on on-prem and endpoint server virtualization. They have some cloud capability. So in different case, you may need a different one, but both of them provide immutable backup. It means they have their own mechanism to ensure your backup it won't tempt by the ransomware or attackers, to make sure the data which is being backed up can be used, right? There is a many ghost story or tragedy story that start saying, well, we do have backup, but after ransomware, the ransomware also encrypt our backup, so we have nothing to back up to restore. Well, there's some point that they don't do offsite backup, they don't do to second site, or even the NAS is writable to everyone. So it's a welcome message to ransomware. So immutable storage is almost essential for all backup solution nowadays, because we have to fight against ransomware. And of course, easy to use, compliance friendly is also important. So let's talk about a little bit more on Keepit, which is dedicated protection for your cloud data, SaaS data. So why we have to do backup? As mentioned a few, there are human errors, and there's some more detail based on Microsoft things. Well, first of all, as I said, they don't have dedicated backup solutions. And even you're using the Microsoft one, that may be not that easy to restore an email. They feel quite complex to do that. And for the OneDrive, itself, they have versioning. The majority of backup solutions didn't back up the older versions. They only back up the last copy for you. Sometimes it's okay, but sometimes it's not desirable, because you may have accidentally overwrite something that you want the older version. Then your current copy destroyed. Your backup only have the latest one that you cannot be used. So versioning is also important for Microsoft Cloud backup. And some users will have problem of recycle bins problem. Well, first of all, Exchange 30 days mail in 30 items, so they only keep for you for certain period of time for the recycle bin. That means those is not being backed up, and you will not able to restore if you put it in recycle bin. Okay, that's one is to be careful. There's many users like to keep things in recycle bin. This is very common practice. Don't ask why. They think it's safe to put there. Just like the story, like putting the cash on the fridge. Same reason. But many backup solutions didn't take care of the recycle bin, including Microsoft one. But we keep it everything for you. Yeah, and we have a dedicated server, so it won't down with the Microsoft or Google. All the data we have redundancy 2x2. Each data center will keep 2 copies, and at least we'll have 2 data center to keep those copies. So you have 4 copies anytime to make sure the availability of your backup. And Keepit got some blockchain technology to implement the immutable storage, but it's just a term. Yeah, make sure it won't be override or changed by hackers or another. So what we do backup for M365, Exchange Online, all the details like tasks, calendars, subfolders, whatever. OneDrive, we also have the versioning and the permissions, groups and teams, which is a bundle of a SharePoint. We back up the chat, we back up the files, we back up the conversation, project, pages, subfolder, project folder, whatever that we can back up, and be able to restore in place. That's also very important, because many other SaaS backup solutions, especially for Teams, those conversations they be restored as a single HTML file for you. Then you have to, if you want to put it back, you may have to copy and paste or import whatever, but we can directly restore back in place. Okay, so this is Keepit. One very attractive point from Keepit also, we license by number of users with unlimited storage. We have 2 plans. One is limited retention for maximum 1 year, and the enterprise one is unlimited retention. So if you buy an enterprise solutions, you have unlimited storage with unlimited retention. Of course, in reality, most of us will just keep for 7 years, because in many accounting requirements or other compliance, keeping longer than 7 years is violating the compliance. So don't keep too much. Sometimes it's against you, especially of the legal cases. Next is about the Storware, which is a corporate backup solutions. This is our architecture. Well, these are too small, so we break it down in a few. First of all, we support lots of source platform. So we have all branch of paid and open source hypervisor. So we can back up, because VMware, Hyper-V, Azure, and Nutanix, Scale Computing, OpenStack, Red Hat Enterprise, Proxmox, many others, open source and paid version of virtualization. It's very important nowadays, because everyone, not everyone, but most of the VMware user try to switch over to other virtualization platform. But one of the problem to us is they cannot find a proper backup solutions to the new platform. So they still stick on VMware. Well, now you can have a switch with Storware support for your backup. And of course, we can back up the data on the cloud. We support distributed file system, we back up containers, we back up AD, we back up database. Of course, we have agent to back up endpoints. For the destination, also very interesting. Okay, first of all, we support quite wide range of cloud storage, not just S3 compatible, but we can back up to many others cost-effective cloud storage. Yeah, so nowadays we find that if you got large enough data, more or less cloud storage is more cheaper than hosting a physical hardware, because the hardware price is going up too much while the cloud backup storage is going down. So there's already a turnover for quite a long times. Especially like you can use consider using Wasabi or others. Of course, you can still put it on your on-prem. You can put on tape. You can put on NAS. You can put on SAN or any other local storage through SMB and FMS, any protocol. One more much interesting point is for Storware for enterprise version. We can integrate with your existing enterprise backup solutions to enable your existing backup enterprise backup solution to back up something that not able to back up. Then you use back the storage management, retention policy, alert system, geotest steps, whatever you integrate with them. So those OpenText or others, those enterprise backup. That will be more or less is like those banks and governments with a long history of those net backup that they're never able to give up, and always ask other vendors, can you convert the old backup for me? No, you don't need to do that. You can use the Storware to back up something you cannot with your existing net backup, and then I'll feed the data to the net backup, and then I can back up to your, I don't know, autoloader or whatever you want to use. That's how we integrate with those enterprise backup solutions. Of course, we can work standalone for all those source and destination. And our pricing is quite flexible. We can license by backup volume, license by VM, license by endpoint, physical machine. Just pick the one that most cost effective for you. So we have I highlight a few major functions, like I mentioned of the source and destination, and we have immutable storage, so we can lock up your data, integrate with API for the SaaS cloud data to lock up that, and also we can do protection from the ransomware attack on the on-prem storage. we have some lockup functions to help you protect against it. Well, that of course needs some configuration of your physical storage on-prem in case you require to do that. Okay, so that's about backup. Next is about log connections. Okay, well, in all those SaaS applications, they have a quite limited log retentions. Most of them at most keep 90 days, but it is not fulfilling the compliance itself. And in case there is an incident, you are not able to get what you want from those log sorts because they already washed out already. Like if you want to find something like 6 months before, even not possible at all in many systems. On-prem may be better, but most of the cloud solution, SaaS, you will not able to find it out. So then you will have difficulties to find out the root cause. Like for example, in many cases, customers say, "Oh, I'm being ransomed." When it's happened? Oh, 6 months before. I still cannot find out the root cause. Can you help me to find? Well, we do try, but as you may know, many cases, what we can see is only the detection, which detect by ESET. All the Windows log is gone, all the others log is gone. Then not much we can do. And for compliance requirement, log collection and management is required. Well, why we bring up this today? First of all, of course, M365 log is limited. You may need somewhere to centralize to keep it. And there's one very important function features from Graylog. Recently, we have a data lake features. We can give you a real total insight and show total security and pay for total value. I explain why. So first of all, in many cases, even customer already have a SIEM, they have a coverage issue. They have a limited scope because of the cost consideration. If you deploy I don't know, maybe Span or ArcSight or Elastic, they will license by volume of logs ingress, right? It means the more you put in the system, the more you have to pay. So in almost 100% of the project, we will just choose those security we think is security related and then feed into the SIEM. Sometimes you do it correctly, then your SIEM will success and working. But still not comply with the log management requirement for many of the compliance because you didn't keep all your logs with a required retention period, like 1 year, 7 years, or 5 years. It depends. So they will do what they're able to do because of the money. And so that's what the shortfall of most of SIEM we can see nowadays. So Graylog, we do something different. Okay, so we are relatively younger SIEM or log management tools. We build to remember those shortfall and problems. We have function features to help you to maintain all of those logs that you should keep for compliance requirement, but you usually won't need for a security detections. So we got something called data lake to help you to fulfill it. And our rule engine is called Sigma. So those is open source rules. It's not a proprietary one, so we natively support it. So that is really save lots of costs for the professional service or consultancy or human labor time to build up those rules and scenario. Because you may know in most of the SIEM cases, majority of the cost is go for the consultancy and deployment and professional service, not the license itself, because it's really complex and difficult to do that. If you do need many experience on the platform itself and also security itself, and as well as the target target log source security solutions. But with similar rules, we bridge the gap, and we have got something called we got some packages, which is out of the box already parts of logs, organized with charts, those correlation rules all in place. So, and anything new is not there's no additional costs from Graylog. What you need to do is just send them a log sample. Yep. So this is how it works. So we have a Graylog platform. We add GeoIP, all sorts of data with pipelines. We get all your logs from your APIs, endpoint, email, network, server, user, and then we give you alerts and response and some guidance of remediation, playbook, whatever that you can make use of. So how the data lake I mentioned is working. So in the world of SIEM, there's a A, B, C, D, E different place they will charge. They can use to charge your ingress volume or SIEM transfer volume, right? So for many cases, the raw ingress will be charged in many solutions. So as long as you ingress, you will be charged. For Graylog, we charge on E actually. So we don't charge on ingress itself. When we have a place for you to keep as a data lake, which is not indexed, okay, we will pass it and store it in a storage. So for the SIEM operation happens on D, we retrieve data to index and then create rules and create alerts. So at this point, we will charge you. So this is a really dramatic changes on the SIEM operation and cost. Now just imagine you have like 100 server, 1,000 endpoints. Some scenario I see is they just retrieve logs from AD and servers, nothing from endpoints. Well, to minimize the cost because their solution using is A, charged by A, so they minimize the log ingress. So they ignore all those endpoints logs, but they're still there on the endpoints, but you didn't do a proper log management, right? In case the attack, well, hackers always wash out your log, right? So for Graylog, we will ingress all the logs from all the 1,000 endpoints and server, AD, firewall, whatever solution you have. Then we will route to data lake, okay? And we set our filter. It's because we need not all the logs. So we will just retrieve logs like, for example, all the security log from endpoints, or you keep the same story. We don't get the logs from endpoint yet. We just get the AD and also the server to the index with our rules. Okay, when analysts find, well, there's a loss of lateral movement, I would like to find out the root cause, the source of attack. What you can do is, because we have the data in the data lake, you can instruct Graylog to retrieve those logs from those endpoints. Well, when that time you already know it's not applied to all the 1,000 endpoints. You may identify it's a certain subnet, maybe 100 endpoints. So I just get the security log from those workstations with that subnet. Those are only 100 of the endpoints. Then retrieve those logs into the index and continue our analysis and investigation. So we only charge those you filtered. So there will be dramatically decrease the cost for the log retrieval and the usage costs. But we do maintain your proper log management, the real log management tools in the market. Well, right, okay. So I do mention that we have, I'll tell you a big case, which is a DBS in Singapore. DBS use Graylog to do the log management. They're using Splunk, But as I mentioned, Splunk is really costly to inject all the log. So they use Graylog to help to index and store the logs. They are talking about 10T per day, 10T per day, because it's manage all the logs from all the branch in the Southeast Asia. Yeah, then they switch to Splunk. So Graylog can use as a SIEM as well as a front-end log management tools, which is the most famous thing of Graylog. Yeah, with the new data lakes, it's also lower the cost to just do the data management, log management. Okay, so you won't worry about getting all the logs from the cloud and SaaS and endpoints for you. Next, I'll talk about Jump Cloud. So Jump Cloud is a cloud directory that offers unified directory, single sign of all device and management. Why we introduced today? Because in many cases, a user may not able to manage those Mac device properly with extra ID and many other legacy solutions like the NAS and some application that require LDAP. While on the other hand, a hybrid AD is not usable at all for many user command, at least to access today. So Jump Cloud is a integrated solutions that we can provide you. Let me show you. Yeah. So provide your identities, manage your device, and provide many IT services for your endpoints. We do updates, patch management, even something like group policy, but we apply to Windows and Mac, like those USB control, password management, whatever policies that we can apply and adopt to the unify to Mac and Windows. Of course, there's a slightly different something we cannot do on Mac, but we can unify to single platform to match the endpoint policy. As I said, we also have many functions that not just used for your endpoints, but also adopt to your SaaS application as a single sign-on. And we support just-in-time provisioning. In case you have a new user on board, you need not to create lots of accounts one by one. You can rely on Jump Cloud, and in nowadays many popular solutions support just-in-time. What it means is when you create a user in maybe an AD or your HR system, then will be a new account on Jump Cloud. Before the user access those SaaS applications, there will no account created on the SaaS. Okay, save you some money. And then when the user first log into those SaaS applications, if he or she is entitled, we will help you provision the account just before they successful login. So we save lots of cost and time and money. And the rest wise, if they left the company, the offboarding help you to remove those accounts right away. So very handy tools for nowadays. If you have lots of SaaS application, looking for single sign-on and cross-platform management tools, Jump Cloud is really a good one. And they still support like LDAP and Radius. That means VPN, some OLAs that you still can use the same identity to access without any problem. So this is a very good things that if you find any shortfall from the extra ID that you cannot fulfill, Jump Cloud, I think, can bridge the gap for you. Second, SharePoint. So as I said, it is encryption tools to help you to encrypt the sensitive file and ensure the sensitivity and security for your files. Well, you may mention there's some DLP rules and functions that are available in the M365, right? But it can only control within the M365. We can integrate with your M365, your SharePoint or your OneDrive. With those labels, we can help you to automate encrypt those files with a proper policy to ensure the right person can read the file. So how it works, for Microsoft Office files, they have an API. So we integrate that API to ensure that the user need not to have third-party tools to open those encrypted files, as long as they have proper credential of shield path, or the M365 account is the same email address you assign the permission. So we can control read only. Can they edit the file? Can they copy file from? Can they print the file? Can they remove the control? Yeah, so we have the policy to control all those permissions. Or if you are PDF, or other file, we can encrypt it with there will be a separate extension. PDF also need not to have a additional software. For others, like maybe some AutoCAD or other image file, then you need to an agent or web viewer to open it. Okay, so how it works is you create a file, then you assign the file to a policy. Shield path will encrypt the file. Okay, we won't send your file to anywhere. We just encrypt it, and we use PKI. The key pair will store our server. So anytime the user want to read the file, they have to access our server to verify their identity. In case they are on the ACL, then they will receive a key. That's temp key to help them unlock the file and apply policy targeting them, so they can read only or write or whatever. And we support cloud model or on-prem model. Of course, if you're talking about M365, definitely you should use a cloud. So after that, you need not to worry share files on OneDrive, because in some compliance requirement, you are not allowed to share file to a cloud drive without encryption. But with Shield Path, because we are already encrypted for you, so you are free to share to the cloud, because any others who is not on the ACL, they cannot use the file, even they get the file from your cloud drive. So there will be very handy solutions for many users. And we can integrate with DLP solutions. If you got a DLP, you may take the data, but the loophole of DLP is they will always say, after you send out the file, you cannot control anymore, because DLP do not encrypt the file. So we can integrate with DLP. So we can encrypt with different policy based on the labeling of the DLP. Then you need not worry to send it out the file. You just make sure the file is being encrypted Shield Path before sending it out. Then you can have end-to-end total backup and protection. And also we can integrate with data classification tools. And we have a specific plugin for CAD files, CAD, AutoCAD or similar tools, because the file size is pretty large. And as well as they do need to protect those files, because the file creation itself is already very costly in many cases. The tender lose or win because of those man hours. If someone get your file, just make a modern tiny change, they definitely will win the tender, because they need not to create that again with a costly designer from that. Last but not least is about lost data, which is a very interesting tool. We can help you to monitor the external attack surface, find out any data breach, any leaked credential, any shadow IP, or some interesting thing that you'll find on dark web. So how it works, first of all, let me introduce where it's from. Lost data is come with Log Security. Log Security is come from NordVPN. NordVPN is the biggest VPN of the world. They acquire VPN. I think they are almost 70% or 90%, 80%. I don't know. The personal VPN market. So they have so many users. they want to protect them, so they buy lots of those dark web database to find out any account takeover, data leak for those VPN account, to mitigate the abuse of hackers to using their VPN accounts. But yeah, still many, because there are many users. So that's why they have a huge database on dark web monitoring, as well as those leaked data, breach data. So why don't package solutions for your business customers? So that's why we have Nostera. And we have few things we can do. We help you to, this is not necessarily. It's not about account takeover, let's keep it. So we can help you to find, because we have a large database for stolen credential. So we can find, show you who, when, in which data leak your user being stolen, and sometimes you can see their password. We know where is a breach account. We have a malware log list, so we will know which computer or account being infected with malware or ransomware. We have a dark web monitoring. We monitor all the dark web forum, telegrams, and also combo list, discussion forum. So you can create rules to find out is your company IP or domain is being targeted by dark web. So why we put Nostera here? Because we do see many account takeover on M365 accounts. Maybe people just don't want to turn on the MFA, but it will be difficult to do that. It should be, but there's so many ways to work around the MFA. Just do on your token, then we can do it. So we have cookie list also. So so we put a lot there here to help you to identify, is there any mail account is being stolen or being sold on the dark web. So for those more concerned about like target attack, ransomware attack, target attack, or any campaign against the brand or company, they may find LogSer is really useful. Okay, that's all sharing for today.